Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bear here with the Scryguys, and today we have another deck tech for you. Um, Gotta be a little bit upfront with everything. It's gonna be a blink deck. I mean, really, how do you build this person without blinking to get as many shards as possible? So today we're going to be doing the Dustmorn mythic legendary creature Niko Light of Hope. 2 an Azorius legendary creature human wizard. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 shard tokens, which are enchantments with pay 2, sacrifices enchantments, scry 1, then draw a card. But you can go ahead and pay 2, tap Niko to exile target non-legendary creature you control. Shards you control become copies of it until the beginning of the next end step. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of its next end step. So, pretty cool commander. But it is gonna be just a blink deck for a lot of people. Maybe they don't like doing the blink stuff. I personally probably like the 4-mana Brago a little bit more. I believe it's Brago, the one that's flying, and then you could blink whatever things that you have on the board. But I think this is pretty interesting, and it's going to be a light enchantment deck, so let's get into it. So what makes this commander really work is you must has more shards. And so we're going to be tinkering with a lot of creatures that can blink our commanders. So Ophelia is nice because you can go ahead and flash her out, and then if you maybe just get one attack out of her, that might just be good enough for 2 mana. Abuelo is really sick because one, it has protection on itself with the ward 2, but you can go ahead and pay 1 and Azorius to exile another target creature or artifact you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the next beginning of the next end step. So we can go ahead and just pay 3, and just by the time we get it back, we might have 4 to 6 shards. And then Soul Herder just does it for free, so that's really great. Yeah, we also have, obviously instants and sorceries that do it with Cloud Shift, Ephemerate, and Eerie Interlude, which I didn't know was climbing up there in price. But it's great for you to be able to go ahead and have a mass blink spell for your deck, and especially with a lot of creatures that have ETBs and everything like that, it's gonna be pretty essential in here. And then the two bigger purchases of the deck, which you can honestly not have this in the deck and have the deck be a little bit lower in price. Displacer Kitten, which just got reprinted in the Mystery Booster 2s, but it didn't really. I think it helped the price drop down a little bit more, and I know this is a split thing for a lot of people, but I do like white border cards. And then Thassa, which is I think hovering around $15 to $16. But a lot of people always forget of the pay 3 and a blue to tap another target permanent. And also on the original Thassa, where you can just make things unblockable. I feel like a lot of people forget those things. But yeah, this is just going to be great for us. So we can kind of go crazy with Displacer Kitten. And what that's is just, it's indestructible, so it's fairly safe. I mean, it's still open to being exiled, so be careful about that. Next, we also have non-creature base blink effects, so Teleportation Circle and Conjurer's Closet. Oh yeah, now Eerie is the new constellations for Duskmore. So we have a pretty decent amount of creatures in here with Gremlin Tamer, which is going to give us a whole bunch of 1/1 red gremlins. Entity Tracker, which is going to be great because whenever our shards enter the battlefield, we get to go ahead and draw a card, and Archon of Sun's Grace can just make us a whole bunch of 2/2 flying creatures. So that's great, but it's really cool too because you can turn all your shards into Archon of Sun's Grace, blink Niko, and then just populate the whole field with a bunch of tutus or a bunch of gremlins. You never know. And you can even do it with Entity Tracker, but make all your shards Entity Tracker and then blink Niko and then just draw a whole bunch of cards. So I don't have Mesa Enchantress in here because it's not really mainly focused into an Enchantress deck. And also because Mesa Enchantress only triggers on when you cast enchantments versus Eerie and Constellation, where those are going to see enchantments enter the battlefield and you get to get those effects. And then we have Fear of Sleep Paralysis, which is going to be in the Amanatu precon, but it has flying, and then whenever paralysis, or another enchantment you control enters the battlefield, or fully unlock a room, tap up to one target creature, put a stun counter on it, then they can't be removed from permanents your opponent's control. So if you turn all of your shards into this and then blink Niko, you can possibly just lock down the whole board and have control of it, and it just kind of just keeps swinging until you win the game. And this is also going to be a token deck. So we do have, I believe our most expensive card is the doubling tokens, but I did give myself like a $200 like budget for this deck, so I'm pretty sure you saw that at the thumbnail. Caretaker's Talent is great. I didn't know it was going to be a $12 card, but on the first class, whenever you make one or more tokens, whenever one or more tokens you control enter the battlefield, draw a card. This ability triggers only once, so if you decide to put something like Smothering Tithe in here and they don't pay, not only do you get a treasure, you get to draw a card, but also when you're doing your blink effects, you can get to draw a card on other people's turns. And then later on, when you want to, for 1 white, you can make another token copy of a shard or whatever other copies that you have out there. And then for 3 and 4 will possibly help you end the game by buffing all of your token creatures with +2/+2. Sphere Safety is great. I mean, we produce a whole bunch of enchantments, so Sphere Safety can possibly make it so difficult to swing into us. And then Anointed Procession is Anointed Procession. You're just going to go ahead and make double shard tokens. So, and we got to clear the way somehow. And this is the way I wanted to do it, is to have board wipes where you can go ahead and bounce Niko, clear the board, and then redeploy Niko. Maybe you have Lightning Greaves or Swiftfoot Boots on it, so you can give it haste, and then just play another big or not even big threat. Possibly could be a small threat, like we have a couple of those creatures in this deck where it gives each flying creature gets +1/+1, and then you turn all your shards into that, and they're all buffing each other like coat of arms. You could possibly end the game that way. Starfall Invocation is the same way. You destroy all creatures, you give somebody a card, then you get to return a creature from the graveyard into the battlefield, and then time wipe, you go ahead and bounce Niko back into your hand. And then Clone Army Generals. These are the creatures that we're gonna hopefully turn our shards into. So Archivist of Ogma is really great because Niko's ability doesn't say at sorcerer speed, so you can just do it at instant speed. When someone goes to search your library, turn all your shards into Archivist, and then now you're gaining, I don't know, however many shards that you have, so you're gaining life for each shard and drawing a card for each shard. Silent Hall Creeper is really cool because it can be blocked, and then you can get to go ahead and pick one of the things that you need, whether you want to buff your shards with +1/+1, 2 +1/+1 counters, whether you need to draw some cards, or whether you need to make them a copy of another creature, which isn't really going to matter because it's going to stop being a creature at the end step. So mainly the first two are the most important ones, but mainly it's to draw the card. And then, like I said, Skycast Sovereign is a 1 in a blue, or white and a blue, flying. It gets a +1/+1 for each other creature you control with flying, and if all of our shards are flying, then they just get super buff. But really cool for this one too is that it also can create catbirds. Curiosity Crafter is just another way for us to go ahead and draw more cards, and it's a 3/3, so it's a pretty sizable threat. Aerial Extortionist can give us the ability to exile a target non-land permanents, and then whenever they want to cast those non-land permanents, we get to draw a card. And then Nasty Work is if you pay full price for Null Drifter, or you go ahead and blink it before the evoke thing on the stack resolves, you just get to have that, and then you turn all of your shards into a Null Drifter with Annihilator 1. A lot of people might scoop to that if you're alpha swinging at somebody with, I don't know, 10, 12 shards, and now they have to sacrifice 12 permanents and then take 48 damage. Jeez, nasty work. And here, Blade Hold is another great one where with the battle cry can get out of hand. Angel of Destiny can help us honestly win the game in one swing with a decent amount of shards that we control, because at the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 or more life than you're starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. If all of our shards are Angel of Destiny, You just kill them like that. So that's really great. And then Dazzling Sphinx can help us steal just a whole bunch of instant sorceries from our opponents. And then Sturmgeist is like the battle cruiser type of card I really love in this deck, giving all your shards the ability to get power and toughness equal to the amount of cards in your hand, and then whenever they deal damage, you get more cards in your head. This is pretty nutty. And then Hullbreaker Horror can get really mean. You know, you turn all your shards into that, and then you cast a counter spell, and now you're bouncing however many permanents back to people's hands. Not really a fun time. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this deck. Deck list is gonna be down below. Make sure to check that out if you want to take a gander at what this deck list looks like. Again, we want to say we always appreciate you guys. We appreciate that you guys are subscribed. We appreciate that you guys comment and everything like that. And hopefully, you know, we get to keep doing this for you guys. But yeah, have a good one, guys.